All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the President's Campfire Chats. In this episode, we're going to cover Gary's Jamboree, which Matt from the Sierra Nevada Rivian Club and myself have been planning for half a year now or so, maybe more. And then we'll bring on Jazzy Jeff and Will Newbern from the Northeast Rivian Club. So, welcome, everybody. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, all. Matt Boudreau in president of the Sierra Nevada Rivian Club. I'm up in the Tahoe area, and we've been doing a few SNRC events. Like most recently, we just got to check out the new service center that just opened in Sparks area. So that was really awesome of Rivian to let us kind of come check it out. Really, the service manager let us in. And I'm also joining today just to talk about the Jamboree. I've been out to Fouchery, been out in that area before. Um, I used to be a snowmobile guide, so done some more play in the snow out there, but just going to help facilitate everyone, hopefully have a good time and help any questions you have today about it.
Yeah, and Matt, what's your configuration of your truck?
Oh, mine. So I got LA Silver Forest Edge 20s, and I do have the underbody.
Awesome. Do you have any rock sliders or anything?
I don't. I haven't added those yet. Um, I'm still up for debate on do I really need them or not. I like to go off-roading. I've taken the truck on the Rubicon. I've done a few loops. Nothing hard on the Rubicon. I've done a few loops out near there with some other members, and the truck is very capable and it does a really good job. Is it nice? Do I think it's good to have that extra protection? Yes, but I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and there's really nothing on the trip that we're doing at the end of September that was going to need any kind of rock sliders or anything.
No, to give my best way to put it is the road is rocky, but there's no big rocks. It's not. Yeah, it's rocky. I drove it already once in normal height. I didn't even raise the height. I was having some suspension issues, so it didn't want to race. So I just drove it normal, and it was fine. It's just slow. It's slow roads out there because they're, um, you know, rocky roads, not big rocks, but just rough. You're going 5-10 miles an hour, so you're not using a lot of juice out there as well.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the nice things about the whole trip is we should be able to power up to 80 to 90% at the Truckee Rand station or the EA station that's there in Truckee as well, and not have to charge up until we're on our way home. Uh, for some of us, that'll be Sacramento. For others of you, that'll be back in Truckee.
Yeah, and Brock, I'm on the stock um, Pirellis, and I have about 22,000 miles on them, so they're getting worn down. I'm probably going to get a new set before winter, just because I don't like to. I'm in snow country, and I don't like to play with that very much. So, and I do have a spare. I also be carrying, some recovery gear. I have a few things, so some of the basics. But if you use a better route planner, you can put in Lake Fouchery. All those roads actually will show on that map. So I've done it, and I would say it's about out from the Truckee Charger to the lake and back is maybe 30%,
Yeah,
right around there.
yeah,
And then we were going to do a drive. We're going to add that in, and that'll be another 15 to 20%. So um, 85, 80 at the Truckee Charger is totally fine. I think you'll be fine for the trip. Either you're going back to the Truckee Charger, or as we kind of talked about, you can take a different route and go by Bowman Lake and go right into Sacramento, and you might even have enough charge to make it all the way to the Sacramento Ran Charger.
yeah, and most of the way downhill that way. So
Yep.
that's kind of a nice trip down.
Yeah.
All right, let's start answering some questions Christian asked, because he's been running in conserve mode and he's worn down his front tires. Um, I don't think it's going to matter. I think everything that we're doing out there, there's no real mud or anything like that. It's rock, and the couple of more difficult lines that you can take are granite face rocks, and slicker tires are usually better on those kinds of surfaces. You get more traction, so I think that you should be fine. Um, and then, kind of a follow up question for that one was bringing traction boards. Um, you know, I don't think there's anything that we're doing that traction boards would help. Right? I mean,
No.
there's no real mud, there's no real snow. Hopefully by that point, and and there's no real sand along the way. So those are the places that I would think you'd want to use traction boards. Now, if you want to kit your truck out and make it look, awesome out on the trail, and we're doing photographs and video and stuff like that, that might be
Yeah.
nice to bring them. But I don't think we're going to need to use them at all. I don't think they'll ever get dirty.
For me, I throw them in because why not? We have so much extra storage. And you never know who you're going to run into. So
Right.
you might not be going in the mud and going and going off road and all that, but you might run into someone who did get stuck, and then you're there to help them, so they can be useful in that way.
Yeah.
So I always throw them in just because there's so much storage in that truck.
Yeah, it's the same reason that you bring recovery gear and jacks and all the tools that you can, because part of the overall culture of four wheeling is if you run into somebody on the trail and they're having difficulty, you stop and you help.
Yeah.
And so anything you can bring that will help somebody else, you bring it. All right. So Paul asked, how does he know if he's one of the first 30 people to sign up? Uh, Well, I checked, and unfortunately, Paul, you're not one of the first 30 people to sign up. But we'll have a list, and we will be letting people know the order that they signed up, because there is a limit of 25 people, and I'm going to call it 25 adults for the Group 2 campsite. But I'm also sure that there might be a little bit of horse trading going on, and some people may want to actually get a good night's rest, and other people may want to stay up late. And I mean, it is a full moon that first night, so we'll see where people want to sleep. And so I think there's some variability in that, but we'll have a list so we can kind of negotiate that as we go. Okay. So second question Paul asks is that he's on 22s. What do you think about 22s on the roads, Matt?
You can get out there and back for sure if you want, um, to get out there. I mean, you can still. I mean, I wouldn't air down on 22s, but I would just again drive slowly. Um, it's everything is doable, but if you get aggressive, you can hit a rock too hard or something. But you're really just crawling over, um, like you said, granite rocks and stuff. So can
Yeah,
be
and
done.
I've done that road on 21s and 20s at this point, and I didn't air down the 21s, and Um, I didn't have any problems. I wasn't really worried about nicking the sidewalls or doing anything like that. I think in that case, I would advise you, Paul, to come early and meet us at the staging area, and then we can drive up there with you, and we can spot you on some of the more difficult things that are out there. But it would be nice to also have another truck with you that has more recovery gear and jacks and things like
Yep.
that. So just in
Yep.
case something happens, and you're in an S, so you've got the little tiny tire, but several of us have extra spares, or not extra spares, but spares. We'll
Yeah.
call them that,
Yep.
spare.
Yeah.
So
You're most likely not going to have cell phone service out there, so it is better if you can go with someone or let someone know when you're leaving so that we can check on you.
yeah, and the other part of his question was whether or not there'd be people with an open seat, and I'm absolutely sure there'll be people with open seats, and with this crowd, I'm sure that we're all gonna pile into each other's trucks and do fun things together. And Paul, if you're willing to photograph and video, that's even better. Like there's going to be lots of really great opportunities for that. All right. So let's talk about Joshua's question. He's leaving a little bit late. I'm assuming he's leaving from either Sacramento or the Bay Area, and he's thinking about meeting or trying to get to the immigrant gap uh, turnoff. And I think off a 80, that's going to take you over to Bowman Lake. And Bowman Lake Road 8, a friend of mine's CRV, um, when she was trying to come out to Jackson Meadows earlier in the year. It took one of her rear half shafts out of her transfer case, and but it's a Honda CRV. It's not really built for going off road at all. That road is fantastic, and it's actually the way that we're one of the two ways that we're talking about leaving the campsite. Um, and if you have some experience doing off road, it's not bad at all. If you don't have any experience, it may be a little difficult at times. And Matt, do you want to say some things about that?
Yeah, the name of the game on this type of road is honestly just is slow speed. And it's it's a less pleasurable experience. Even if you get the update and they say the ride's going to be smoother, it's a little bouncy on that road, and you end up going on it for a while. So it kind of, it just kind of wears you down after a bit. So best thing is really just to go slow, especially on those rocks, and you can you don't have to veer off the road much. It's just um, slow, and you're going to run into people. I know we can kind of people have some trail etiquette and stuff like that, but just briefly, if there's three Rivians and you're the one up front, letting that first person coming through, letting you know that there's three of us, just giving them a number so they can see behind, because there's some tight sections. When you go to Bowman Lake, there's one area that it's really beautiful, but it's one car wide. So you just got to take your time, give yourself a little extra time.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I'll do as we get closer to the event is I will send out an email with all of the participants' emails in it. Up till now, I've just been kind of keeping those private, and then allow people to kind of talk and see when people are going to show up, and who can drive in with each other, because I think that'll be a really good resource for everybody. We're going to be at the staging area, which is up north of Truckee at the Little Truckee Summit, and that's where most people are going to be coming in from, and we're going to be leaving there at the latest at 4 o'clock. And that's just because the full moon is going to rise, and so we're trying to get everybody up to camp for the full moon rise at 6:45. Um, and so that's why we're doing that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's such a beautiful spot. It's so
It's
cool.
yeah,
It's
when the full moon is shining off of granite faces, it's just absolutely stunning.
Yep.
And with that lake right there, and yeah, I'm so excited.
And for anyone that's going, if you go and you just want to hang out at the lake the whole time, that is totally okay, because it is just a great spot. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So we got one last question here. Brock is asking if there's a link that describes the event. Uh, Yes, there is. And after the event, I will publish both the events and the information packets that I've given to the people that signed up. Um,
After this
after,
call,
not after this call. I'm
or
gonna I'm gonna publish everything for everybody in the RCA to look at after the event happens. For the people that are signed up, I'm gonna publish the events
yeah,
info
yeah,
packet right after this.
yeah,
So
very cool.
sorry, Brock. You'll have to wait a little bit longer. It'll be the 2nd of October or the 3rd of October.
And is Rivian coming? Do we know?
I have 3 spots. They said they're going to take 3 spots. They don't know who is coming yet. We have a competing event. The Central Oregon guys are going to do an event up at Crater Lake, And so I think there might be some people going there instead of coming to ours, which is fantastic. I think it's great that there's too many events to do for the people that are in the Rivian Club's
That's awesome.
family. So yeah, yeah. Other than that, I think we're gonna go up to Fauchery, and we've got a bunch of camping that's gonna happen. The Thunderbolt Adventure Supply people are coming, which means we'll have at least one camp kitchen and possibly some more. So we'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out. I'm excited about that. Um,
Yeah, that is
so
exciting. I want to check
yeah,
that out.
yeah, and yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna go a couple of the events. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of them. We're gonna go up to Meadows Lake, which is a really popular four-wheel drive loop out of the Truckee area, and it's got some historic significance, and we'll get to go up there and talk about that and see the signs and all that good stuff. And then there's a couple of hikes that we've looked at. So if you're interested in, instead of driving for a couple of hours, going on a hike for half a day, there's some really beautiful hikes up there too. So those are kind of the big events that we're going to do. All right. I think if there's no more questions, Matt, you've got to go fairly soon. You've got another call to get on. So we'll talk more. I'll publish the events later today. Um, and we will see each other in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thanks for
All
your
right.
time. I'm excited to see everyone. It's going to be
Yeah.
really fun.
Thanks for coming, Matt.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So before I bring on our next two guests, I just wanted to let everybody know that Jer has been working really hard on the logos, and those logos are now with a usage guide in all of the folders for all of the chapter clubs. So I've already shared the folders with you. If you go into the folders that I shared, you will be able to find now in the logos, there's a black, a forest green, and a white set of logos for you to look at. Please make sure you take a look at the usage guide. And if you have any questions, you can email me or Jer, and we can help you figure out how to get those logos out on T-shirts and hats and mugs and all the good stuff that we're doing. Satish asked, how does he know if he's in the main 25 group? I'm going to send that out in the next couple of days. I'll send out that email that's got the events and the list of people that are in the first 25, and I'll include everybody's email so we can start that horse trading that I was talking about earlier. So, all right. Without much further ado, I will invite in Will Newburn and Jazzy from the Northeast Rivian Club. So come on in, guys. Hey,
Hi.
guys. How's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Same.
All right. So, gentlemen, do you want to introduce yourselves? We'll start with Jazzy.
Um, Many of you know me as Jazzy. I'm Jazzy Jeff. The Northeast Rivian Club founder, and by default, I guess I was named the president. Um, I got my truck back in March of 2022, so it's been about a year and a half, and I have over 41,000 miles on my truck. I'm based on Long Island, New York, and when I first started the Northeast Rivian Club, I wanted it to be all encompassing because people were just starting to get delivery. So I included 9 states, which is everything from New Jersey, a bit of Pennsylvania, all the way up north, all the way up to Maine, where Will is. And Will came on board, and he's handling the Northeast because our area is so large. We also have a few other people that are beginning to help out in other areas. So it's been quite well.
Awesome. Awesome. Will?
Yeah, it's a huge area. But yeah, I'm way behind Jazzy on delivery. I got my R1S in May of this year. So still all pretty new. I've only done 5,500 miles on it. But that's a lot more. That's a lot more in 4 months than I've ever put on any other car, though. So
Awesome.
I'm definitely doing a lot more driving, and some of that is going to Rivian events because we've been all over the place. And after a few weeks, they had the event in Jazzy was putting on with Rivian down in New York, so I went down to that too, and which was pretty cool. First time I had to stop and charge along the road. So
What charger did you use? Do you remember?
well, I went to an EV Go one somewhere in Connecticut, and it there were 3 of them not working, one that was working, and about 5 people waiting for that one. So I was like, I'm out of here, and I went off to a backup one I had looked at because I had thought about things like that ahead of time. So I had a backup one that I went to, which was much slower. I think it was a charge point, but still worked. That was what matters, really.
Curious, were you using PlugShare, checking locations prior to going?
Yep.
Okay.
I checked PlugShare. My wife was actually in the passenger seat checking PlugShare, looking for recent check-ins before we went, and we still ended up like that. But that's the name of the game right now, and that's all going to change with the NACs and those adapters when they send those to us, and we can use the superchargers. I think that it's just going to be.
It'll definitely open up a lot more.
Yeah.
My 40,000 miles, I haven't had many problems, and when I have had problems, most of them have been my own fault, not checking properly. PlugShare. Yeah, granted, you had no choice. You had to go to some, and 3 of them weren't working, but I knew it in advance at least. Only once did I kind of like block myself out completely because they literally took down a whole set of chargers because they were putting in the Ultra and Hyper. And I had been there 2 weeks earlier and they were working, and I just didn't check. I was like, oh, these are great. Yeah, so much. So I got stuck going on a charge point, a slow one, for over an hour before I could even get to the next decent fast charger. But what are you going to do? It happens. It's a learning process.
It's a learning process. Yeah, there's always that. Oh no, it's always been fine. It's been fine the last 10 times. I'll just go and I won't check. And sometimes you get bit by that. So it's always good to do a second check. For now, at least. We'll see how it goes in the future. But do you guys want to tell me a little bit about the Northeast Rivian Club? Like how you said it encompasses a bunch of states. What are those states that it encompasses?
All right.
Well, there's Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, and New Jersey. Is that it?
I think Pennsylvania also was is in there. So, like I said, it's such a huge area, and when you get into states like New Jersey, we'll start out with New Jersey. Half of New Jersey could be considered tri-state, part of the Northeast. The other half would be Mid-Atlantic. Same thing goes for Connecticut. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state. But the northern part of Connecticut is really New England. And then you have a state like New York, but you get out in Western New York and you're pretty far out there. So we have another gentleman named David Wells. He's heading out some events there. But initially it just started, well, when I got my truck, I was one of the first in the country to get his truck. So some of you may remember, some of you who are listening may not have any clue. When the price change came out, I didn't get that price increase. I was one of the few people who got your price is not changing. I was in final stages of delivery. So when I got delivery, a few weeks later, I actually did a live walk around my truck for everybody so that they could see, because everybody was just clamoring for information and real live information from someone who doesn't work for the company. Although many people have asked me if I work for the company. But more people started getting their trucks, and I just wanted to bring people together. And the first event we had was up in Connecticut at a brewery, and I think we had about 8 or 9 trucks there, and people. We had quite a large turnout, just basically so people could see the trucks. So many people didn't have them yet, and now more people have them. And now it's yes, anyone who doesn't have a truck is more than welcome to come see it, and many people. Owners are willing to take you for a drive. Some let you take a drive in it, yourself driving. But yeah, touch, feel, sit in it, experience what it's all about. But it kind of became more of Rivian owners and us doing things outside and adventurous and together. And just like, having that big ear to ear grin. Yeah, exactly. That was one of the first events we did off road. Having that big ear to ear grin about our trucks and talking about them and the things that we've done with them. So yeah, that's basically how it started. And then more and more people got their trucks and started looking for some help outside. And people indicated that they'd be willing to help. So it's moving along quite well.
Is there a typical event that you have, or do you have a lot of different events that you've put on?
So I wouldn't say there's a typical. It can be anything from just meeting for coffee, just meeting on a Sunday morning down by the beach and having trucks together at a local car show. But, we have our Rivians off on the side. And again, guys just talking about their trucks, guys, gals, families, bagels and coffee. Could be going to a brewery. It could be, as this picture is here, an event I put together last year. It was the second time we did it. The first time we did it only with 3 Rivians, but we did it on our own. But this one we had 12. And it's an off-roading event. It was a 2-day event. There's a picture there with the gentleman in the yellow. He's a trained, licensed off-road consulting company. He owns the company. And he brought us out, and he teaches people how to handle their own vehicles, what the capabilities of it are, how to air down properly, what you should be looking for, and also your own driver abilities and capabilities. Where you may have driven an ICE vehicle before, there are a lot of things that are the same, but he is pretty much he has quite a bit of knowledge about the Rivians. He's been in a bunch of them, and one of his good friends had one. So he knows how, like, you could do a brake hold, you could remove the brake hold, on uphills and downhills and things like that. But so that was like an event that was fantastic. It was a 2-day thing. The first day was with the guide. The second day was just a bunch of friends. There was only 8 of us that day, and we just went on trails. Yeah. So is there a typical event? I don't think so. We've had caravans. We had a large caravan that the Rivian Clubs of America helped out with in organizing and gathering names. But no, it could be anything. It really could be anything. What do you think?
What's your favorite thing about the events, Will?
I just want to talk to other people. That's really it. Whether it's other owners and, talking to them about what they do with their vehicles and even, why they picked a certain configuration, or it's just interesting talking to other people. Either that or even like this Sunday, I was at a National Drive Electric Week event in Maine here, and there were 50 vehicles there, lots of different electric vehicles. We had a Rivian R1T and my R1S there, and people were really interested in them. And just seeing people who are like, oh, I've been looking at those, I haven't seen one yet, and wanted to, I was like, hop in, take a look, and poke around, and I've had people bring their dog crates from their car over and see if they fit in the back of the R1S. And I just, if people are thinking about getting one, I want to be helpful. I want to talk to them, and just because I'm so excited about them.
Yeah, yeah, and I really do think that one of the greatest things about all of these clubs that are joining and up and finding each other is that we're doing stuff in real life. Like, we all met each other online, but yet we get to go out and we get to hang out together, whether it's getting coffee in the morning or hanging out on a off road drive or camping. Like, we're really about that in real life experience and going and doing things together, because it's what gives me a lot of joy, and I really enjoy hanging out with all of you. So that said, what made you and your club want to join the Rivian Clubs of America? What was the thing that attracted you to the Rivian Clubs.org?
So, being an early owner, member of numerous forums, and seeing the progression and the growth of ownership, if you will, the numbers of people joining. I also saw that there was a void for a bunch of people who I had met and go, yeah, I really don't go on social media. And the fact that they don't go on social media means that we're losing such a large amount of people from being part of our circle, our community, our family of Rivian owners. So when the Rivian Clubs of America came up, the idea that you guys came up with, I saw it as an opportunity to present to people an opportunity to join a club without being in all that social media. They can be in following the social media as well. That's fine, but it wasn't required. And it helped our club or my getting attendance at these things, events, whatever they may be, the various ones, easier. For instance, when we were doing the caravan for the New York City space opening back in June, the club still clearly is in its infant stages, right? Just came out with the board for RCA and bylaws and all that stuff. But you guys were really helpful in really quickly putting up a link that we could promote all over social media and ask people to share it, or we could just give it to any Rivians we saw on the street and say, here, go to this link, register. And all they were doing was signing up for Rivian Clubs of America, and you guys were giving us back that info. But now we had, I don't know, we had to have gotten like another 70 people that were names and of owners, and some were awaiting ownership. They were just in queue, like so many people still waiting for their trucks. But that's okay, because they're already part of a community and they don't even own the truck, and they can get emails, because that's how we're doing it right now. We're doing email blasts, and the emails go to no one else, and they're all sent on a BCC, so only that person gets it. Everyone else doesn't see it. But they know about the events, so they can come and see and be a part of it, even if they don't have their truck. And if they do have their truck, man, we're running into some of the same people. We're running into new people, and it doesn't matter. It's fun. You mentioned how we met so many different people. It's amazing some of the relationships that I've made, my wife and I, that we've made with some of you, that like we make a point to travel, and when we're traveling, we'll veer off that way. Or for instance, Jimmy and Nikki came to New York a couple weeks ago, and part of it was we were going to hang out with them. It was, they came to our house. I went to the city, all that. Yeah, there you go. We went to the space. to come by the space there. But like, you know, it's just unbelievable the relationships that have been made by people who, listen, we come from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, but we have this Rivian in common and this exciting vehicle that we're excited about, the capabilities of it, and doing things and talking, like you said, Will. Man, we love talking about our trucks. We love it. You know, it's I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Will, we got to see a picture of you, your rig hooked up to your horse trailer.
Yeah.
You have a horse. You have multiple horses.
We
how
just
is it towing? How do the horses like being towed by something that doesn't put out emissions?
there's me. That's the first time. That picture's actually the first time I had hitched the trailer up. So that's hence the big grin. Awesome. But yeah, it's great. We only have one horse, but sometimes we've got a 2-horse trailer, so sometimes we'll take a friend with us to go somewhere. But yeah, most of the time it's just 1 horse in there. It has been just incredible towing. I thought before it arrived, I thought what was going to be really, really important was that 908 pounds per foot of torque. I'm like, that'll beat a diesel truck, and you know, but really that's not. I really am using all that torque when pulling the trailer. Nowhere near it. When you're pulling live animals, you're being really gentle, so you're not moving fast. You're accelerating and decelerating really gently because they're standing in the back. But the really incredible thing was the stability of it. I think that all that weight of the battery down low, the center of gravity in the Rivians is really, really low, and it's pretty heavy too, which helps. So it's just way more stable than anything else I've towed with. So that was the biggest thing that stood out to me, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I was thinking the torque would be the amazing thing, but
yeah, that's awesome. I don't know a whole lot of people that have done a whole lot of towing with their rigs, let alone towing their horse trailer with a horse in it. So
yeah, I haven't seen anyone else online. I've tried to look for other people towing horses with a Rivian, and I haven't seen anything else. I know Martha Stewart bought a Rivian R1T, and she has a bunch of beautiful Frisian horses. So I don't know if she's towing with it, but she's probably not going to be posting stuff online.
Yeah.
I just sent over 2 photos of a boat that I towed 601 miles, 32-foot long trailer. The boat is a 26.2, 26.5, right in that range. But it weighs 6,200 pounds. It has twin engines that came in at 600 pounds each. And when I got the boat, well, double-edged, but I was hoping that it wasn't full of fuel because it has a 180-gallon tank. It had a full tank. So I was carrying another 1,000 pounds just about of fuel. You can see the size of that thing. It like makes my truck look small.
Yeah, it dwarfs your truck.
I had zero issue towing that 601 miles. We know about range. That's a total issue. But as far as the towing part goes, I was more worried about the trailer, and it was brand new. Acceleration was zero problem. Braking was zero problem. I do have electric brakes on all 4 wheels on the trailer. And like I said, it was brand new, but it was fine. My tongue weight was a little heavy just because I couldn't balance it as well as I wanted to on the trailer. And that's going to happen before the boat comes out of the water this season. But man, towing was just unbelievable with it. It really was. The only complaint I would have had I would have is that going during the daytime, and we really only made one stop during the day, and we actually pulled behind chargers. There's just not enough pull-through chargers. Going through the night, I had zero problem. As you can see, I just pulled right up and blocked. It didn't matter, not once during the night. And like I said, went through the night, the entire night. Not once did one person come needing to charge up, or did I have them blocked out. But that's the only complaint I have. It handled amazing, and that picture really shows the size of the two together. It was something else.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. So you guys get to do a whole lot of fun things with your trucks. That's great. What's next? What's your next event? What are you putting on in the next couple weeks, in the next couple months?
Well, I will just put it out there because I just made an announcement today. With Rivian Clubs of America, we have been forging relationships with Rivian corporate, everyone really from the top down. And with that in place, we were notified about the next space that they're opening, which is going to be the Brooklyn space in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So I sent out an email to, what do I have now? What do we have, Will? 279?
292.
Whoa, 292 members in our email list. People who have asked to be a part of our club, signed up themselves. And we sent an email out to them all, notifying them of a save the date. So we have, because of the relationship we have, Rivian is trying to give us, make us feel important, if you will, make us feel appreciated. At least that's how I feel. And they're giving us a special preview event 2 days before the space even opens. So it's going to be a Thursday night event in Brooklyn for 2 hours, just for Rivian Northeast Rivian Club members. Oh, and then on Saturday, it's pretty cool. And then Saturday morning, we're going to be given an hour prior to their official opening. They're going to have a soft opening Friday night, but just like they did in New York City, Saturday morning really is the big one. They made a sign for us, welcome Northeast Rivian Club. We have 42 trucks that did a caravan from Brooklyn, 9 miles from Brooklyn Army Terminal up to the Chelsea space. And it was awesome. It was awesome. RJ gave us a shout out on his Instagram. Rivian gave us a shout out, and Tony was there. Brian Gase was there. It was awesome. It was so memorable. And they're not looking for us to do the same thing again. Having 42 trucks caravan through any of the 5 boroughs of New York is absolutely insane. So they're not looking for that. They know logistically it's a lot, but they want to give us an opportunity to see it and see it before everybody else, and let them know, hey, we appreciate you guys and we welcome you to our space. And
it's been a really nice relationship that we've started. Chicago just did their opening, in Chicagoland RC. That's a new club, and we're looking forward to inviting them into joining. They had 45 Rivian show up for that event, and Denver's coming up. There's a whole bunch of hub events that are coming up. There's going to be Nashville and Boston and San Francisco, and a whole raft of these are going to be events that we are putting on, both the RCA and the local chapters. And so it's a really great relationship that's developing between all these different clubs and the people that are running the clubs and Rivian actually.
Yeah, I tell you what, I know quite a few of them. I met them before I had my vehicle, going to pre-order holder events, and then through the years. And now it's going on 3.5 years since I made my order, placed my order. And I've become friends with some of the people in corporate, and it's cool, even the relationships with them and seeing them. And it's just like, you see them, you give and get a hug that's just so warm and genuine. it's pretty damn cool going to these things. And Will, you came from Maine and experienced it in New York. Was it damn cool or what?
It was very cool. That picture up there is actually that was just up there was my R1S parked right outside the hub. But yeah, it was a very cool event. I was excited to be part of it, and it was very cool to meet all these people that, like Jazzy was saying, that we had met online or whatever, but just putting a face to them and like really, seeing them in person was a whole different thing. And that's one of the things that this really puts together is, people you've forged relationships with already, and just getting to actually see them in person is really, really kind of cool.
Yeah. It was. It was, and it is. And, going back to RCA, helping. I'm not the technological guy, as many of you heard already. But you guys helping with the tech side in hey, I need this put up on the webpage. And even that, it's a basic webpage still, and we're still working on it. But I don't have to recreate the wheel. Did I just send you guys some information and boom, you got it up there? I think I sent Ben a text yesterday. Hey Ben, can I get an updated list? It's been a little while since we got an updated list on inquiries. And he sent over, what did he send over, Will? Like another 50, 60 names?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then we'll consolidate it into our list, our email list and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's 2 months, right? July, August, September, in 2 months. So we're getting like one a day added into it. It's at that rate.
And I think that the bigger club like that, being part of a national club, means we're able to leverage the skill set that lots of other people have around the country that we might not have. And so that's a big advantage to us.
Yeah.
It's amazing the skill set that we together possess. The number of people that work in the various different industries, and it's really humbling to be able to work with such a great group of people.
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of help that people are willing to give, and the volunteer hours that have been put in, because none of these positions are paid positions. These are all volunteer hours, and we're all making this happen together.
Right.
Which I think makes it a really fun ride for everybody.
And Arron, not only are we doing it and making it happen, but we're doing it with, families, jobs, other lives. Holy cow!
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you suggested I come down to that event in New York City, Jazzy, I was like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to like persuade my wife to do this. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can just go on my own and run down there, spend one night and come back. And so I told her that, like, if you don't want to go, I can just do it. And she was like, this sounds awesome. Why don't we make a weekend of it? I love New York City. Yeah. And it wasn't the reaction I expected from her either. So, it's fun that, like, to get your family involved too.
Yeah, it is.
Even though it, there's responsibilities there that can make things more difficult, but it's fun. Everyone loves the Rivian, so it's.
I think it's coming along. The whole community is coming along quite nicely. How things are happening, how our groups are getting bigger, how we're finding each other, how we're communicating, how we're streamlining stuff. I think RCA, Northeast Rivian Club, and all the other clubs out there, it's just we're really starting to look like we're one big club. And I could be going to Florida tomorrow, and hey, there's an event in Virginia, and Tennessee and Florida. I might stop at all three.
And the branding with the logos and I know there's a plan to have websites, you know, look the same, and all that branding is going to really help people to see that too, and think about other clubs when they're going there. Oh, this is like my club. I can, you know, go check them out. And
Oh, there's one near me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that really is that really is the thinking behind having a national umbrella club, is that any member from anywhere can visit Moab and find the Moab Club, or visit the Bay Area Club, the Sierra Nevada Club, the
I went out to Texas.
Everywhere.
I went out to Texas last October and visited the new Lone Star Club, and you know, I did an off-road event with them, and you know, it's all the communication stuff, but the RCA, the whole umbrella and all that is just make it easier to find these things without being on social media necessarily.
Right. We are the social. There's not a media.
Right.
So, well, thank you all for coming, and thank you for sharing about the Northeast Rivian Club. And if anybody sees this and they're interested in getting a hold of you, what's the easiest way to do that?
Northeast Rivian Club at gmail.com.
Awesome.
And you can also go to Rivian Clubs of America, the link for Northeast Rivian Club, the chapter. And while it's basic now, the webpage is getting developed, but you can go in there and put your info in there, and you'll be reached out to for maybe a little more information, and then you'll be on the list, and you'll get notified.
That's great. And then where can we find out about your events?
Will?
On that Rivian Clubs of America website too.
RivianClubs.org. Yeah, RivianClubs.org. Go to the events page, and we list all the events for all the clubs around the country.
We started an Instagram as well for Northeast Rivian Club. While it's growing in terms of followers, it'll be there for social media. I also post a lot on my own Instagram, Jazzy's Rivian Adventure, all underscores in between Jazzy's Rivian Adventure. And that's where I was initially posting everything, but I still post it there because there's still a bunch of people that follow. So there as well.
Yeah. We also try to cross post on a lot of like Rivian specific forums and on, you know, Facebook pages for Rivian groups in different areas too. And just so that spread it out so that we try to catch as many people as we can.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Thank you guys for all the work you're doing, and I'm really impressed with what you've got going so far. I can't wait to see what it does in the future.
Well, Lauren, thank you for all you guys are doing over there at the RCA, if you will, main host there. Appreciate that. Just one thing, if anybody out there is listening to this and is in some of the other areas in the Northeast and interested in helping out or have ideas for events or gatherings, please reach out to us. We're open to them all.
Awesome. Well, with that, thank you guys very much. Thank you, those of you that came and participated in the live stream, and thank you for leaving comments. If you come later and you watch, I'll answer questions for the next couple of days. So yeah, thank you for coming to the first President's Campfire Chat.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Take care.